Hello there and welcome. It's Psychic Cynthia here. And Merry Christmas to you all. Feliz Navidad, Juan Natale, and so on. Hope you all are having a wonderful Christmas weekend. And I hope that your heart is warmed with the positive energies of the recent Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. It's Psychic Cynthia here, and this is your cosmic forecast for the week ahead, and that would be the last week of 2020. Let us see, the dates for that are going to be December 28th, 2020 to January 3rd, 2021. So it's overlapping with the beginning of the new year. Happy New Year! Yay! And before we dive into this special Christmas forecast, I'd like to say happy birthday to all you early degree Capricorns out there. Happy birthday to you. Yay! The sun just entered Capricorn, of course, back on the solstice, December 21st, 2020, which coincidentally happens to be the date of the exact Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that we just had, the great conjunction, the grand conjunction. What a lovely energy to usher in the time of Capricorn. And of course, I always enjoy the time of Capricorn because I, too, am a Capricorn. And my birthday is coming up here on New Year's Day. So it's a difficult time in some ways, this time of Capricorn that we're in. Each year, you know, there are stresses because Capricorn is the sign, at least in the northern hemisphere, where you know, we really start to feel deep winter for many of us. It's the beginning of that deep winter. And I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that there are more deaths that occur in Capricorn than any time of the year. So I think that's just because if people are old and tired or weary and ready to go to the next level of consciousness. Capricorn is a good sign for that. Actually, Capricorn is really, we don't have to die to go to the next level, right? Not physically. So Capricorn is the sign of, in a way, it can be a very materialistic sign, but it can also be very spiritual and an elevation of the ego, because we can die to the ego to be born to the higher consciousness. And I feel that's the essence of this time of Capricorn. So hopefully we will all be elevating, up-leveling with this recent Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that we had. And in this week ahead, again, and that's the week of December 28th, 2020 to January 3rd, 2021, the biggest celestial news is the full moon in Cancer. And I believe that's on Tuesday, so that's going to be the 29th, Tuesday, December 29th, 2020. And it's occurring at 8 degrees Cancer. And I do believe it will be in the night. Let's see, I have some notes on that here about the time. Oh yes, it's going to be 9:28 p.m. here in the central USA time zone. So that's 10:28 p.m. for those of you in the Eastern time zone. And then for those in the Pacific time zone, that will be, let's see, 7:28 p.m. And in Europe, you know, it's going to be quite a bit earlier, but still in the evening at this time of year. So we'll be able to see in a lot of places that exact full moon, and, well, assuming it's clear outside. But there's nothing like a winter full moon. You know, there's nothing, there's something about the air and the quality of the stars and the night. So I hope that you will get out and check this out visually if you can, and, you know, bathe in her energies, the energies of La Luna. It's so beautiful to let yourself receive that lunar light. It does something for the chakra system. It can open your heart and balance all of the chakras, just getting out in the moonlight. So this week's full moon coming up on Tuesday, as I said earlier, is occurring at 8 degrees Cancer. And in Western astrology, Cancer is ruled by the moon. And the moon is, in this system, very feminine. So this is a sign relating to women and the yin nature as well, Y-I-N, yin. the feminine polarity of the universe, which isn't just women, by the way. It's a principle in all of us. Yin is an energy of emotion and rest. It's the energy of inner motion as opposed to outer motion. It's the inner world. And with this full moon, bringing these types of energies into play, into the spotlight. That's what a full moon does. The full moon is literally a type of lunar spotlight energy. So it shines a sort of emotional, spiritual, and psychic light each month on an area of our life we need to pay attention to. And actually 2 areas, because the full moon is happening at the time when the moon and sun are in opposition. So you also have to look a bit to the sign of the sun, the opposite sign, which is Capricorn here. I already mentioned a little bit about that time that we're in. So with this full moon in Cancer on December 29th, this whole week and probably for at least a week ahead, there will be a focus to our inner realm, our emotions, and our family. Cancer is the sign of family. You might even say tribe. It's that identity that you have with your primal roots, and that especially emotional identity, that sense of belonging and security on an inner level, that feeling of home. Listen to the sound of the word home. It contains within it the seed mantra, Om, Om, home. And so really we're all searching for home. We're all searching for Om. And some of us do find that in our earthly families, and especially this time of year, this is a time to come together or to reach out and connect. Even if you're not coming together, you at least, many people will want to call family or, message or connect that way. But remember what we're really seeking to connect back to. It's not just our blood relatives, it is that too. But this family connection that we have, this home, the place we call our roots, and then also the place where we settle down new roots, these are all connections to our spiritual home, to spirits, to the ancestors who came before us. There is not only a blood connection, there is a spiritual connection. And what does that connection mean to you? What does it stand for even? Because if you look at the opposite sign, Cancer, you have the opposite as Capricorn. And Capricorn is known in its highest vibration to be a very principled sign, a very ethical sign. So looking at what it is you stand for in your core, what it is that gives you a sense of meaning and purpose, that is one way to find home wherever you are, wherever you're at. In other words, that's one way to find that sense of Om, that sense of security, the true security, that true deep inner peace. And that can come by going deep within to your true roots. You do have your family roots, and those are important, and we want to honor those at this time, yes. But there's something beyond our biological roots. And if you really want to tune into the big cosmic energies of this full moon, that's something worth looking at now. And it's worth looking at your own soul, who you are, the core of your essence. I think of all of these and feel this as being part of the Cancer and even to some extent Capricorn energy. And feeling is a good word because Cancer is a sign of deep feeling. And that can manifest in, various ways when we're really tuned into the Cancer vibration within ourselves, or especially if you have strong Cancer somewhere in your chart, or a strong moon even, because the moon is the ruler of Cancer, then if that's something that is healthy and well, that energy, if it's operating well in your chart, then you'll have an emotional sensitivity to others and their feelings. You'll have an empathy. You'll also be sensitive to yourself. You'll be caring. You'll be kind. You also have a sensitivity to the emotional currents in a healthy way. You'll be able to go with the flow. and to feel and just anticipate what is right in any situation. There's a deep intuitive element here that can be activated. Now, this is if you're grounded and you are connected to your own sense of rootedness, and that's where the Capricorn energies come into. That can help us to be very grounded. So we need that. Now, if you're not grounded when this Cancer energy hits you, or when you're tuning into your Cancer energy, then the picture can be a little bit different and not quite as pretty as what I'm speaking of here. And those who are operating from the lower energies of Cancer, the less evolved, instead of being emotionally sensitive, they are emotionally hypersensitive. And they get on pins and needles about everything around them, and they get overwhelmed by all the emotions all the time. And, you know, I think we've all been there because we weren't very grounded. You know, I mean, this could just be a momentary thing for you too with this full moon. So if you feel, it's too much emotional energy coming in from the outside right now, if you feel that, that often is a cue to get grounded. You may need some emotional purification and cleansing, those type of things, centering. Centering and grounding, though, really can take care of it all. And there are many ways to get grounded, but one just very quick tip I would share with you, it's very practical, is make sure that you have eaten and drinking enough water, because if you look at it, 90% of the time when we're ungrounded, we have not drinking enough water. In other words, we're not hydrated properly, or we haven't eaten enough food. The blood sugar comes in play is what I'm saying. So and of course, then you want to look at the spiritual processes for grounding. Connecting with nature is so important to get grounded, or having houseplants around, or exercising can be very grounding. Okay, movement. And it doesn't have to be hardcore exercise, although that can help, but really just getting out and walking a little, especially walking in the fresh air and the sunlight. It's very grounding. So just some quick tips on that. But if you're not, really operating at the higher levels of Cancer, if you're kind of down in the muck of the water. So because Cancer is a water sign, okay? It has connections with the ocean. So we can bask in those waves. You can be a mermaid, right? You can swim in the sea of emotions and energy and intuition, and be in that beautiful feminine yin energy, and feel from the heart, and it can be blissful. And you can just feel your heart opening wide to all of humanity, like the great mother. Cancer is the sign of the mother. So we would be wise to honor our clan mothers at this time. In the northern traditions that I follow, this would be the Desir, the ancestresses, the female ancestors. So if you wanted to connect with your grandmothers who've come before, you could leave them offerings or say prayers for them, or think about them. I mean, I'm talking about far back, not just the ones you know of, but this is a time to honor the female ancestors, those who care and nurture. But if you're not, and maybe that's something you can do. If you're getting overwhelmed by these energies, call upon the Desir, the female ancestresses. Call upon your mothers and grandmothers and aunts going far back. Ask them to help you to regulate your emotional energy and your psychic energy so that you're not so overwhelmed by all that's coming in. If that's an issue for you, hopefully you are more like the mermaid that I'm seeing here, this vision of, you're swimming in the energies and you are able to ride the waves and to perhaps harvest from this ocean of energy, a harvest of creative energy, a harvest of inspiration, connection, illumination. These are all positive attributes of the Cancer full moon with the Capricorn energies in there too. And don't forget, the Capricorn, it's an earth sign, and we hear about its totem being the goat, but its original totem is the what? This is an astro quiz for any of you who know a little bit about astrology. What is the original totem of Capricorn? It's the sea goat, the sea goat. So Capricorn even contains within itself some watery energies. We forget, but then we forget so much in modern times. We've lost so much of the knowledge. Well, not lost, it's still there. we can retrieve it. We just have to bring it back from the ancient days. And in a way, that's what Capricorn is about, too, this time of Sun in Capricorn, retrieving the ancient knowledge. So, yes, if you feel overwhelmed, by the Cancer energies, lean back into your ancestral connections, get grounded. You might even feel just simple things like dealing with daily tasks, small daily tasks can help you to lift up out of the emotional mire, and try to avoid, if you can. Obviously, you want to avoid letting yourself get too emotionally overwhelmed, because that's not good on your energy system. It's good to feel, and of course, if there is grief that you need to move through it. Okay, if there's any tenderness, let yourself feel that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Okay, there's just a line that you need to be intuitive about. You need to intuit, the difference between feeling the emotions and letting it flow through you, which is a good and healthy thing to do, versus, when we resist and we get overwhelmed. That's typically what happens when we get overwhelmed too, or what is happening is we're resisting in some way. But then getting grounded and moving, really moving is important. Breathing, maybe getting in some water if you're able to. I find there is nothing more powerful to shift my energy than getting in a warm shower. So that's another tip. All these things can help move that emotional energy through, because you need to, what I'm saying is the emotional body is being activated at the same time as the intuition. So we've got to keep that balanced and help the emotions to run through. Okay, it's a cleansing process with this Cancer moon. What you do want to avoid, if you can, try to keep it in check. Be aware, okay? Be conscious is what I'm saying, of the tendency to lash out, to be, to lash out and be immature because you're feeling insecure. Because Cancer is a sign in its lower vibrations that is associated with sort of immature, babyish, dare I say, infantile behavior. The higher vibrations of Cancer are to be a nurturer, to allow yourself to receive nurturing, and to nurture yourself. But you don't want to be like a screaming infant. Okay, that's not, at least not if you're on the higher spiritual path. That's not really what it's about. We do need to understand in some ways we are essentially helpless, and in those ways be open to receive help. But it's not just about demanding things from others, okay? It's about nurturing and loving. So anyway, I hope this has helped you to understand the full moon that is coming up in the week ahead a little bit more. And I hope you all are having a Merry Christmas time. And I hope your New Year's celebration goes wonderful for yourself. Even if you're just staying at home eating Cheetos, then kudos to you. Many blessings to you all as we close out this year of 2020. And New Year's blessings for a beautiful, radiant, uplifting 2021 ahead. Until next time, bright blessings.